collective reading for people that are desiring to be in partnership with themselves, with God. I heard God first, and just what that is for humanity. We're living in a time right now where, you know, marriage is beautiful. It's funny. I've been a wedding photographer for 12 years, so, which has been great. And also just knowing that not all relationships are perfect, right? And I feel like humans, we get so attached to this idea of like, oh, our partner for the rest of our lives, as if we're not always evolving and changing, and that, you know, we just get so attached to this idea of forever. Who's our forever person? The pressure that we put onto one person for them to be our forever, and for them to fill our cup up. Yes, when you are merging with someone, you know, how can you be with each other? How can you love each other? And how can you support one another? But it takes a fucking village to really support your life. You can't really find it in one person. And so we have free will to choose whichever partner that we desire to be in, and what type of partnership you want to be in. If it's your intimate partnership, if that's something you desire, obviously there's really a bunch of ways to relate to other people. However, we're really speaking right now on intimate partnership with one person, in a committed way. So that's what we're talking about. And so, yeah, I think just to like really, the fact that we put so much pressure into one person to fill our cup up, that's just like the one red flag. And when it comes to relationships, the first red flag is, you know, will you make me complete? Will you fill my cup up? Okay. And the reason why that is, when we go to one person for all that, it's like you know, I was in a marriage for 7 years and it was great. It was like very positive. And then I left, and I knew that he couldn't fill my whole cup up. He filled some of my cups up, but not everything. And so, you know, I learned a lot from that, from trying to like get him to like fill my cup up, and, you know, thinking he could, and, you know, and yeah, but I ended up not wanting, it just ended up not being a full match. And so it was just a completely different season of life that I was in. And yeah, I learned a lot from that. And so coming back, you know, I could expand a little bit more on that. But, you know, I feel like it's just really important for us to not put so much pressure into one person, and to make sure we're getting our needs met from all areas of life. You know, I feel like for me, my desires, you know, I'm a super watery person. And so I like to get my emotional needs met from my divine intimate partnership. I want that like Cancer loving energy of just like nurturing. And I'm speaking this to existence. And so I love a good nurturing person, but is also centered, and really centered in their own beingness, on the masculine and the feminine. And so I know that I have to do that within myself to attract that, being centered in that. And so, yeah. And so I feel like the collective is just, we find so much meaning in other people, but that the reason why that is because the collective is not tapped into their own power, their own presence, their own relationship to themselves. And so, but the good news is that we are slowly coming into union with other people, divine relationships with other people that are both in their power, both in their mission in this life. And I know I sound pretty galactic saying all this, very ethereal, but that is my energy. Look at this hair. Look at this hair. And so when we're really tapped into our own like gifts, or the own way of being, the way that we're sharing, the way that we're experiencing the world, and being that vessel to the world and to humanity, the easier it is to find your person, the easier it is to really not expect the one person to fill your cup up, because you are filling your own vessel through what your mission is in this world. You are really, really tapped into what your mission. And so when you're in that energy of creation within yourself, you're gonna be a lot more picky on who's in your life. You're gonna be a lot more selective, and not in a way that's not loving, but you're just like, you realize that energy goes where energy flows. You realize that when you give to other people, you expect them to give back. Let me say that. Let me rephrase that. You want to be in relationships with people that are both giving and receiving. Okay. And so when we're in these healthy dynamics of like giving and receiving, it's a really beautiful dynamic. We don't want to be with people that are just, sucking the life out of you, or giving and not receiving. And so in all the ways. Okay. And so, yeah, it's just really important for us to realize that. And so for me, what's important to me is having the emotional depth with someone, where we can go and just like play in the realms of our like what we're feeling, what we're experiencing, and without any judgment, but in a very conscious way. That's something I love that, because I love that realm. How are we making love to each other? How are we making love to life? How are we experiencing life in the most beautiful, magical way, and in our creations, within ourselves? What is God telling us to create? And so when we're both in that creation energy, it's really beautiful. It's really powerful, and you will naturally attract your divine partnership. And no, it takes time. I was trying, but dating apps are a thing, but how can you just naturally attract that through your energy, through your essence? How could you just naturally be yourself? And like through that loving natural energy, you're going to naturally attract who you desire to be with, because you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And so when you realize that, when you attract what you are, then you realize that, if you are attracting relationships you don't want, who is it that you need to become so that you do attract the relationship you desire? So let that little sink in, shimmer for a minute. Let that sink in for a minute. Yeah. So what is it in this moment that you want to create? Is it a podcast? Is it, is it a movie? Is it a script? Is it a song? What is it? And so how is it that you can attract that and so into your life? And how is it that, how can you create that so that you continue to attract things that you desire? So coming back to relationship, I think just a little takeaways is don't find yourself completely lost in someone, because that is the ultimate way to really lose a relationship, by not being in your own essence. Because the person that you choose to be with, it's like you want to be an excitement of creation, of like, wow, like you don't want to have them all figured out, because that takes the magic from them. And so like, instead of like telling them this is the way that they are, this is just the way they are, you actually like subconsciously programming them to also think that, because your thoughts create your reality. And so if your thoughts create your reality and you're saying, oh yeah, my partner is just this way. And if you're saying, number one, if you're thinking that, they can feel that. Number two, if you're saying that to them, another way of them holding their own power back. But if you're in a place of being like, I want to see more of who the fuck you are. Like, I'm curious, like, ooh, like, what else can I discover with you? What else can we create? What else can we explore so that like, that I don't, another side of you that I have no idea about. And we're in this like discovery of that. It's really beautiful, because it allows us to like fall in love even deeper with the other person. So yeah, a little message around that. I find that I have a Libra and Jupiter, so I'm all about the relationship. So yeah. So yeah, when it comes to that and divine union, partnership, marriage, whatever you want, whatever it is that you're desiring to create, just always be in curiosity instead of judgment with your partner. And I know that yeah, and so how can you just continue to stay curious? Any last messages for the collective about relationship dynamics? And yeah, just play, play in the realms of whatever it is that you're creating, because when we co-create with one another, that's where the magic happens, and there's so much love around that. So all right, my loves, well, that is all for now. If you would like to book an akashic records reading with me, link in bio. I've been doing this for the last 4 years, and it's a really way I tap into, so I'm right now tapping into the collective, right? And I can also tap into your soul's evolution and what it is that you are either missing or blocking and not really realizing what it is that you are missing. And this is about your soul's evolution, no one else but yours. And so I tap into that, and I let you receive messages that are like around that. Feel free to, I answer questions as well, and to really help you evolve. Yeah. Link in bio for that. I'm also have my beautiful container called Awaré Amoré, Aware in Love, where we go even deeper into this practice through embodiment, through vocal activation and play. So if you're interested, link in my bio or link in the description, and yeah, or book a call. All right, my loves, sending you back to your way. May you be filled with so much love, energy, life force, and that you can continue being the most amazing and powerful vessel that you are, and that you are so loved, you're so guided, you're so tapped into your intuition in every moment, and that you are a clear channel. Aho.